we were like pulling it in, and they were like all ripping the baits in, and I was like, no, and they have like slow reels, and I was like, guys, just fish them on the way in, fish them on the way in. They're like, okay. And while fishing on the way in, I got bit, and I was like, see guys, yeah, you got to fish it on the way in. And the fucking thing, like, it went really ape shit. It like jumped at the boat. It basically almost jumped. It almost hit the boat, like jumped over the rod, tip wrapped me, and I busted him off. And I was just like, well, I fucked it up.
That's why you fished him in.
Yeah, I was like, that's why you fished him in. So hopefully we get another shot today.
And how did it start out? Like, what was the origin story?
Too much alcohol.
Really? Okay.
Says if God wanted us to have fiberglass boats, he would have given us fiberglass trees.
It's for fishermen. It's not for taking the wife and the wife's friends.
I think that it's a really, really pretty bit.
And then there was a blur that went by and ended up in the cockpit, as far as if I can remember correctly.
Welcome back to State of Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm Nick Carullo. Tonight, I'm joined with Nick Gonzalez, owner and captain of the Double Threat, one of the top charter operations in Miami. Thanks for joining us, Nick. How you doing, man?
Good.
So, Nick, like I said in the intro, you got one of the top busiest boats in Miami. I want to hear kind of how you got that far, and just tell us how you kind of got in this industry.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I started the business. I was actually in school going to UM. I was a freshman and actually wanted to get in the industry, but wasn't really sure how to do it. And I took probably the most difficult route. And I was just like, my dad had a boat he wasn't really using. So I worked it out to just pay him per trip. And I was like, oh, let me just start a charter business. It's supposed to be like a part-time thing or just some side money at first. And turned into a lot more than that. It was definitely a learning process, but we just started with paying him per trip. And then I was like, okay, once I got licensed, insured and all that, I was like, didn't have any charters. So then it had to get into the marketing. It was definitely a learning process, but by like probably my sophomore year, we started running 100, 150 trips. And then by like my senior year, we were doing over 200 a year. So it was enough to take it a little more seriously and kind of reassess, whether or not I was going to do that when I got out of school, which obviously I stuck with it. But, when I started, just kind of kept my overhead low to start. And, by my junior year, I bought the boat for my dad and just kind of incurred more and more overhead as we grew. So that helped, get my foot in the door for sure. But
did he get you into the industry when not industry, but did he help just maybe, you started fishing with him when you were young? Yeah,
I started fishing with him when I was younger. It was all recreational. I mean, he's an airline pilot. And it was actually started with me. His mom wasn't doing that well, like when I was like a freshman, sophomore in school. So he didn't have the time really to fish. So he was like, all right, whatever, you can take the boat out. So I just split friends, go out, it was split fuel, go out with my friends. But I took kind of an unorthodox route because I didn't really work on the boat when I started. I was just kind of like, whatever, I'll figure it out, buy some kite reels on Craigslist. And I'd go out, have my friend drive, like, bump left forward, right forward. I'll put out a spread. So it was kind of figure it out as you go type thing. And I did fish a lot growing up, but it was definitely a learn by doing type process for us. But it was definitely put my foot in the fire and got going that way.
Yeah. So you went from you said sophomore year, you're running 200 charters.
Yeah. So I started basically once I kind of got set up, licensed, insured, all that, and opened the bank account. I pretty much just started marketing, which kind of one of the harder parts, especially when you're starting up. And there's
rumor has it that's what you're good at.
Can be. There's different types of marketing. I mean, there's obviously the social media is not as much of a strength, but I also never put as much emphasis on it. So I was just sitting there in school and I worked on like search engine optimization, building the website, just getting visibility on Google. Back then there was no fishing booker either. So it was kind of have to develop your own channels. Once I had some, a few outlets and we started getting the trips, they would come in pretty consistently, especially in like the spring and summer. It definitely took a while to build up a good book of business and get the repeats and stuff, but it definitely, the emphasis on marketing was good because as we got the trips, it was easier to, incur more overhead and continue to build a business that way. Yeah.
When you were, when you were starting out, did you have like anybody kind of like mentor you or just like a figure that kind of, that just helped you with some of the process and just along the way?
I wouldn't say mentor. We'd fish a lot with friends, guys in the industry, and this business too. Now I would say it's even easier. I mean, there's no secrets anymore. We were on the tail end of that when I started. I mean, this was a little over 10 years ago, but I mean, there were still a few secrets.
Yeah.
But I mean, you start fishing with enough people, you kind of learn how to, work on the fine tuning a lot of the techniques. And I learned from my mates. I mean, I learned from other captains I worked with. I definitely worked on some other boats too. And I do think there's kind of an underappreciated, component, I guess, when you just focus on learning by doing, and kind of critically thinking your way through a lot of the techniques. If you really just go, I feel like a lot of people that go around, like they need to be spoon fed everything and taught everything. And a lot of it is, it's fishing at the end of the day. And a lot of the different techniques, I mean, some of them are a little more sophisticated than others, but, just having an open mind and just trying to see what works, what doesn't, how to do things more efficiently. I'm still learning, obviously, every day, and my crew is too. But, I wasn't really mentored as much as a lot of the guys in the industry.
Yeah.
Also, when I started too, a lot of the guys, when they would market, it would be, I've been doing this for 200 years. I worked for this guy, I worked for that guy. That was kind of the status quo. But I do think the industry's changed a lot. There's a lot more younger guys doing pretty well, learning for themselves and pretty successful at it, I think.
Yeah.
So that's
and you guys, which is cool. You guys do a little bit of everything. You guys, I mean, I see you guys, it's swordfish, the sailfish, the bottom fishing. I mean, it's everything, which that's cool. I think it's an art in itself, making sure you're good at, able to catch every species, Yeah,
I try to be well-rounded. Kind of have to be too, when you're charter fishing, because fishing can suck so bad sometimes. So you have to be like pretty competent at just about everything just to get through your day sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's days where it's like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, man, I got to catch some runners. And I got to catch runners and I got to punch it to 3 different wrecks and just try to desperately catch an amberjack before heading offshore. And that's, unfortunately, it's not always, we're not always dredge fishing in the DR. I mean, it's not always pretty, I guess. We're just trying to get the rods bent. But there's obviously I've always loved sword fishing. If I was going to do something on my off time, that would be it. And there's some definite, it's rewarding to learn how to, go after different species and mix it up a little bit. So part of it's just because you need to, I guess, to keep the rods bent depending on the conditions. And part of it's just kind of keeps it fresh, keeps it fun to try and push your limits a little bit and go after different species.
Do you get some people, I guess mainly repeats that, I'm sure you get a lot of guys that just want to catch sailfish, but you got guys that just want to do maybe one thing, or everyone's pretty open to everything?
We definitely try to spice it up for our repeats. The guys are coming back. We go out their first time and we catch a bunch of sailfish. They want to do something different. We'll maybe recommend coming in the fall, going out, doing some daytiming for swords. It's I got a guy who customer texted me the other day and he was, hey, what's biting right now? And he always comes in the spring and I'm like, oh, whatever, sails, blackfin, dolphin, kings. And he's like, what, do you just copy and paste every time I text you? I'm like, oh, it's kind of how it is though. It's really more or less the same shit, but it is kind of challenging sometimes when you have guys who come back for 4 or 5 straight years, keeping it fresh, keeping it, trying to go after something different. But we got guys who, they'll want to target something new, but even just going out and kite fishing a lot.
Yeah.
But, you never know exactly what you're going to catch, and you obviously have your better days sometimes too. So I hope so too.
You do a lot of you're doing a lot of trips now. How many trips you averaging right now?
This year's not been as good, but last year we did almost 400.
Wow.
We've been doing over 300 a year, other than pandemic year. When we pretty much lost almost 2-3 months during the spring. Yeah. But the last 5 years, we probably averaged around 300 a year. So we're pretty busy. I mean, obviously some of those days are doubles. We do a lot of 3/4 days. We'll even do double 3/4 days.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
Then wake up and do it again.
And then wake up and do it again. Yeah. And no one cares what you caught too. It's you go out and you crush it. You go catch 10 sails, and then the next customer doesn't give a shit. They just want to go catch fish. And it's stressful, man. It can be really stressful. I don't think people give it enough credit. And then the shit's always breaking on the boat. It's I love fishing, but It's this year I've taken a bit of a break. I just have not been running the boat as much, and it's like every time you have sex, like shit in your room starts breaking. Like the ceiling fan falls down, everything starts breaking around you. All of a sudden, you're gonna be like, okay, I don't know how much I like having sex anymore. It's just I'm honestly like, it's just a big element. Like, you know, go out there and, you know, shit's just constantly breaking on the boat, and then, you know, people have expectations every time they get on that boat, and you have to meet those on a daily basis. And I think that's one of the hardest things. Is it's easier with repeats, I feel like, because you have some rapport with them. They know you're going to put them on fish, but we get a lot of like new customers, and it's having to do that over and over and over again for sure.
And how do you deal?
Yeah. What's up?
I say, how do you deal with like just the breaking and fixing of things? Like, you know, do your mates and stuff, they're pretty good at helping out with that, or it's basically?
Yeah. My guys are all very experienced, and it's not the fishing. You know, there's a lot of guys that can fish, but the reason my guys have on average like at least probably 3 to 5 years in the business is because it's really important, especially on a charter boat, that you guys have guys who are mechanically competent.
Yeah.
My first mate, I mean, Chris, he's been with me the longest. I think he's been with me like over 5 years now.
Wow.
But he's very good mechanically. I mean, he's like a nuclear engineer is his background. Very hard worker, but he's just very mechanically savvy. My newest guy, Dylan, I mean, he's a great fisherman for sure, but, you know, that's something that no matter how much you do it still takes years to become comfortable on a boat. But it's definitely an art, taking care of the boat and reducing downtime. We have a lot of, I mean, we do all of our services ourselves. We kind of draw the line at, like, if we're going to pull a cylinder head off the engine or start doing ejectors, I'll get the mechanic in, simply because they're going to do it quicker, and they're less likely to break shit. But we do most of the stuff that we can ourselves. You know, big renovations we've done largely by ourselves.
Like, I mean, you just did a big renovation, right?
We did the interior. Yeah, that was the biggest one was when I first bought this boat. That was in like 2016. I bought this boat, the Hatteras that we're running now, and that was a full year working on that thing. Painted the whole boat, rewired pretty much the whole boat, custom live well, fish box. We put the tower on it. I mean, we did a lot of work in that year, just trying to get everything custom rigged for what we do down here. But I mean, as far as like reducing downtime too, like I have almost an entire spare engine.
Ready to go.
Pretty much. I mean, I got, you know, water pumps, fuel pumps, obviously all the belts. I have like a full rebuild kit ready to go, spare turbo. I mean, it's to the point where like I could probably start, you know, I have injectors out the ass. It's to the point where I could probably, honestly, I've thought about just going and selling parts for these motors. And that was always how I did shit. But then even now with the downtime and this, with all the supply chain issues, it's even more important.
Yeah.
It can take weeks just to get a part. So, I mean, we'd rather come back in and something breaks, we'll change it out that night or the next day or whatever and get back out there. That's a big part too, is having like good inventory management with the boat. A lot of redundancy in parts.
Yeah.
That definitely helps for sure.
How many hours do you have on those engines now?
Put close to 11,000 hours.
Wow.
They're Cummins 450Cs, it's 450 Diamonds, the 6 ETAs. They're very good motors. You know, they have obviously all engines have some of their issues, but good. I mean, they're cheap to rebuild too. I don't really have I can get them rebuilt probably 15, 20 grand a piece.
No, it's not bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah. I mean, for 30, 40 grand, I have a new set of engines, and they could definitely, I mean, I've already put 10,000 hours on them. So, you know, they should go another 15,000 hours for sure. They're running good. It's just some of the other stuff that can nickel and dime me like crazy. Like I told you before, I just broke a shaft like a week and a half ago, and getting a new shaft, yard trip. That's every time some shit like that happens, it's, you know, 8-10 grand. So that can add up almost more so than the motors.
I see those photos behind you. You take those photos?
No,
I was gonna say, because you usually got good photos on your page, so I guess you take a lot of those. Or you just keep like a good camera on the boat too.
Chris takes a lot of them. I used to take a lot of them when I was running the boat. We got like Sony, like, you know, mirrorless. They're good cameras. There's no correlation between like the quality of pictures and the number of likes you get. I'll tell you that much.
Oh no.
We got like a 6 shot of like a sail or whatever. it'll get like 50 likes, and then
Yeah.
put some ghetto ass picture of like a nice dolphin, and
I love it.
yeah, they go crazy for that shit. But
They love a good iPhone 6 photo,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's really the way to go. I mean, there's no ROI on like quality photos.
Yeah.
In general, people don't like quality shit on Instagram. You guys, I mean, I will say like Billfish Group actually makes overall like a good content, but that's a rarity. And a lot of people I feel like just do not have any appreciation for it.
Yeah.
But,
that's funny. That's true though.
definitely diminishing return on the effort there. You know, we're more likely to jump on a fucking floating flamingo and try to catch a snapper, and it'll, you know, go viral for some stupid shit. And
Oh yeah.
Than actually catching like quality fish and getting good content. But that's what the people want, I guess.
That's right. What how do you guys do with bait? Do you guys pin up bait and stuff too?
Oh, that's been like pretty sad. The bait situation.
I know it's been tough living in parts of Miami, depending where you are.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not even, you know, getting the bait's fine. That's always, I mean, depending on where you go, if you have the time, you can find it. But the water quality in the bay has just gotten so bad that really started, I feel like, about 3-4 years ago. They were getting the spins in the slip, and we weren't sure what it was. We thought it was maybe lack of dissolved oxygen. We lost we would always start the season. We had like 5 pens. We'd go catch, do 2-3 trips, you know, try to pen up 1,000 threads, and I'd buy gogs. We'd sometimes catch them, but I'd also would buy gogs wholesale. But we used to have very, very good bait management. It was a big part of what we did, and a lot of the reason why we'd have like a lot of big days on sales and stuff was because we were ready.
Yeah.
But that's gotten harder and harder to do just because the bait just won't live in the bay anymore.
You're still having that issue?
A lot of the times, yeah. So it's gotten to the point now where, you know, it's hit or miss, but we don't have, like, if I was tournament fishing or on a private boat, I would obviously, like, you have to have bait. So we would go out and pen it up, and if it lives, it lives. We'd probably pen it up in a couple different locations, but we don't have the amount of time that some people do to be bait fishing. Yeah. So it used to be like, all right, if it's calm and we have good weather, we have a little bit of a window, we go catch bait, but we can't really do it anymore, knowing that there's a decent chance it's not going to live. So, I mean, it's gotten bad enough where like our bait won't even live overnight in the well. If it's not living overnight, it's not going to pen up very well. And I've tried like, you know, I put a linear diffuser in, and I was aerating my whole slip. You know, I cleaned out all the pens, went and caught a whole fresh batch of herring, and I still had the same issues. So it's been bad enough over the last like 3 years where it's just on and off. You have really bad die off. They're getting the spins. There's been, you know, at the beginning of this season, it was happening again. We were having some issues. So we were like hesitant on loading up on bait. So we've mostly been for the bait. We've mostly been day to day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see you or one of your guys, you know, on the beach, and then fucking punch it all the way down to Triumph, you know? I mean,
yeah. No, and it's bad now too with diesel. You know?
Yeah. Have you had to raise prices?
I have, yeah. We're already on the more expensive side compared to some of the guys, but we did have to bump recently, and that's not even. I'm still like barely splitting the cost with customers. I mean, we did like another $100-$200 bump in the last month or so, and we're getting wrecked on diesel prices. I mean, I spent last year about $60,000 on diesel, which if I burn I would say close to 25,000 gallons. Yeah. But this year we'll probably spend closer to $100,000 on diesel.
Crazy.
It was basically probably $40,000-$50,000 right out of our bottom line this year with diesel prices being where they're at.
Crazy.
There's just not a lot of guys that have done I know like the Delphs down at Key West do it. Some guys in the Gulf will do it, but not a lot of guys have done the model where they just have a flat rate plus fuel. Yeah. I'm very hesitant to do that just because I know, and I don't want to take people out there and then, you know, freak them out. They have no way of knowing like what you're really burning. And it's not a car. You get somebody out there, you're just like, okay, yeah. And then it's $500 in fuel, $600 in fuel. It can be get some sticker shock for the average customer. But
yeah. Why have you thought about going that route?
I thought about it a little bit. It's hard also like on my engines, they're not like outboards. It's hard to even really monitor it, but we have a good idea. I mean, I bet it's a 43-foot boat, but it's pretty economical. I mean, we burn probably average like 50 to 80 gallons a trip. So it's really not too bad.
Yeah.
We just kind of factored into the cost for the most part. It's just like what the fuel did in the last few months. I mean, I had trips on the books already at a previous rate that we've had to run for months now.
Yeah.
And fuel's almost tripled really in the last year and a half. But it's not just that. I mean, there's a lot of little shit too that's just been frustrating. I mean, broke a shaft like 2 weeks ago and then can't get into a yard. There's so many guys moving down here, and it's affected the yards are all full. I mean,
I'm dealing with that issue myself.
it's over a month to get into Hurricane Cove. I mean, that place used to be always half empty and super ghetto, but yeah, it's hard to get into it. You can't even get to a yard now. I mean, there's just and when I was doing the renovation, I mean, all the little shit, everything's 30, 40, 50%, 100% more expensive. Like every can of paint. I mean, when you start doing a ton of work on the boat, you know, supplies, they really add up. Sandpaper. I mean, everything's just gotten a lot more expensive. It definitely obviously hurts a lot of guys. You know, it sucks to have to spend a lot of money on fuel, but you know, for what I make, I do like a, you know, business owners do a disproportionate amount of spending to make what we make. Yeah. And this inflation's not been pleasant financially, and that's just been story for the last year, but it'll change. I mean,
something's gotta change.
When I started the business, it was like 2011. So it was such a bad idea to get into charter fishing. I mean, fuel was in 2011, fuel was like $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
We were like in the middle of a recession too at the time. It wasn't like, I didn't even have enough money when I started to like really probably fill the boat up. I was like, my whole business model was operating on a quarter tank pretty much. So I mean, we'll get through it, but I hate.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I just had Ray on last week where I was asking him, why does it seem like the last few years the sailfish pattern kind of has been almost seems like it's getting later and later every year.
Yeah.
What do you thought on that?
It almost like they skipped a year this year.
Yeah.
It's like later and later and later, and like
and then gone.
And then it just never happened. You're like, oh shit, they just didn't come through. Yeah, I mean, that's been kind of rough. I mean, the fishing sales definitely gotten, I feel like, a lot later. In the last 10 years, there's virtually no wintertime fishery the last 3, 4 years, 5 years. I think fall has been much better. Yeah. A lot more bait around. I mean, there's been a lot more fish on the showers in the fall. A lot of small fish, a lot of rats, but I feel like we've had more double-digit days in the fall than we have in the winter almost the last like 3, 4 years. But
I mean, because
gone later.
Yeah, we even had the fronts. I feel like we had a couple good cold fronts earlier this year that I thought we would have had some good fishing, but we just didn't.
It really just seems like the fish have been holding a lot better in Palm Beach the last few years, and we're obviously not running up there on a half day. But of all the fish, I mean, sales are very important to us, but I think they're like probably the least of my concern though. They are pretty well protected. All the other species, I mean, everything has been on the decline the last like 10, 15 years. I mean, it's just been like kings. I mean, kingfish can be, they're pretty rare. I mean, it's like a rare fish now. We'll fish mono like the whole season this year. And like, I'll go out there and like, yeah, I haven't really, I was traveling a bit. We were like, I went on a few surf trips, came back. I fished a day in like May, and we were fishing all mono, like off the boil. And I was like, Chris, why are we fishing all mono? He's like, there's no kings. Like, there's no king. I was like, I haven't gotten cut off in a month. And I'm like, dude, that's alarming shit. I mean, that's something that
this is true.
They should be thick. I mean, you shouldn't have gogs lasting all day, but
yeah.
The kings have slowed down. The bottom fishing is just tough. I mean, the jacks are hammered commercially. Kings are tough. Jacks are tough. The dolphin fishing, I mean, that's something that,
brutal.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be like you catch a limit, that's a good day, and now it's, you're feeling yourself.
You can't catch the limit with the new 5 per person.
No, if you catch 20 nowadays, like you're feeling yourself, like you're a good dolphin fisherman. And that's too, like, you don't see a lot of big fish either. Like I'll go out. I'll spend the whole day, like the whole summer in the tower, like every day for.
Didn't your boat catch a nice one the other day?
They did catch a nice one the other day. Hopefully they're not too rare this year. Last summer though, I saw like two fish over 20 probably, and I was fishing like 100 days. And we look hard. We're up in the tower all day. I mean, we're like feverishly looking for these things, and there's just not that many big ones around. A few more in the Keys than we get up here, but
well, maybe this new bag limit will maybe help a little bit.
Hopefully. I mean, I hate to be like pro-regulation. I'm not really that kind of guy, but for the most part, I don't think there's a single limit where I'm like, oh, it's just too restrictive. I mean, I'm not like, I really needed to keep one more jack or like one more cobia. It's really, for the most part, I feel like they're all pretty fair, but a lot of those issues do stem from the commercial pressure. I mean, the fish we catch here, those fish are all coming out of the Gulf. I think in their life cycle, they live like a year. I mean, they're kind of, they live a year. Fry in the Gulf, and they kind of make one pass. They kind of get swept north. They get big, get up the eastern seaboard, and then maybe some of the big ones kind of make their way back a little bit in the fall. But I feel like our stock is largely from the Gulf, and I think they've just gotten hammered down there, long lining, and obviously some recreational fisheries, fishing too. But the guys in the Keys aren't really. You don't see the racks down there like you used to. I feel like. Yeah. And that's been
I mean, I remember when I was younger, man, you could go out there and catch as many as you want and always catch, you'd always catch one big slammer,
Yeah. I think people have a tendency to always talk about the good old days, and, people have selective memories, but you don't remember all the shitty days. But overall, I mean, statistically, like if you were to even look at the numbers, there's been a downward trend for most of the fisheries.
For sure.
Like as a guide, the fisheries that I feel like haven't really seen that trend as much are the ones that are more protected, like the sails. If you're an inshore guy, that's a good place to be just because, tarpon are well protected, snook are well protected. A lot of those species are.
Yeah, that's all catch and release,
Yeah, pretty much. I do have my doubts how many. I mean, I do think there's a lot of pressure from the sailfish tournaments, but it's good for the sport. But I can tell you for sure, when I go out and charter fish and I'm surrounded by 100 of you guys, fishing those, I hate those tournaments so much sometimes. I'll be out there just like looking at my ghetto charter spread. Got a couple gogs with wire, some cigar minnows, and I know everyone else around me is fishing racks of sardines and herring and stuff. And
we're still not catching them, so.
Yeah, so it's not just me, but
catching maybe 5 wins a daily.
Yeah. It was kind of a tough year, for the tournaments.
It was weird. I mean, I guess, I don't know. This year seemed to be so-so. I mean, some guys had some retarded great fishing, What
was it, Jimmy Johnson? I think Steve won that, right? Rivera? Didn't they? I think Top Boat had like 5 or something terrible.
Yeah, that was brutal. The Jimmy Johnson was brutal.
That's terrible. I mean, that's usually the best one. With I feel like it's at least timed correctly. It's been like the best time for him, but.
And haven't you guys? You guys have won like some top tagging or something as well in the past?
When we did it, yeah. I mean, we're out there enough, and we fish hard enough on a daily basis.
How many did you catch? Maybe some of those good years, or tag, or how many did you catch?
We tagged like nothing crazy. I think we tagged like a little over 300.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Which was enough to. We actually we didn't tag 300. I think we only tagged like 250 or so. When we reported just releases, it was like 350 or something. I used to have
a good ratio with tags.
What's up?
I said it's a pretty good ratio with tagging.
Decent. I mean, they're not always the cleanest tags. It's like, oh fuck, you got them in the eye, in the asshole. So they were just throwing it at them. But it's kind of fun tagging them. But it's definitely a lot of reporting and stuff too. A little expensive, but.
Have you caught any of your own that you've tagged?
I haven't caught any of the ones that we've tagged. We've had definitely some recaptures though. Nothing crazy. I had my neighbor. We caught one. We recaptured one that. My next door neighbor had tagged like a month earlier. It swam from like the Diamonds to Fowey in like 2 months.
Come on.
Pretty unremarkable, yeah. just slowly swimming south.
Come on. I don't believe that.
I swear to God, look at some of the data. I swear, like I don't know what they're doing.
That's not good if that's a real report.
Yeah, the data, all it does is confuse me. When I see that shit, like the tags are just like, all right, this thing swam here, this one swam here. I feel like we try to make sense out of those things, and they're just fucking wandering aimlessly.
I mean, that one just threw me for a loop.
Yeah. No, it was literally, from the diamonds to Bowie. It was like a month at large.
I would think that'd be. I would think
I
he'd
think it
swim
went to
that.
Eastern O'Hare
He'd swim that in a
back.
half a day.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think those things move at all. I think they're so lazy and so slow. I think there's days where they tail, but even when they're tailing, I feel like they're just out there trying to survive.
Hang out.
Yeah, they're just going down sea to save energy. But I don't know. The more I fish those things, the more I see like over ground. I feel like they're not moving that much, especially in those heavy current days.
Yeah.
I think they're a lot lazier than people give them credit for. Just mulling around, eating a lot, but it's hard to make sense out of them. I mean,
Definitely.
you start to like try to figure it out, and
Right when you think you figure it out, they just kick you in the balls.
they're confusing. Yeah, no one really knows. I mean, the theory. Every time I talk to someone, the theories change like on a monthly basis.
Weekly basis.
Weekly basis, yeah. I don't know. Those tournaments, I feel like you just want to fish the conditions. You just want to find the right water, right amount of current. I've never fished a lot of tournaments. That's something that my crew has. I just, I've always been stuck running the boat.
Yeah. Well, we got to get you out there. Oh,
yeah. I mean,
I don't know. You haven't been
it's
missing.
the one way to.
You haven't been missing much.
No. It's probably the one like the last thing I need to make fishing that much more frustrating for me. It's just like sugar on top for.
Really make you hate it.
Yeah, it really make me just never want to do it. Go out, lose some tournaments, just miss that last fish. Real storybook, sad ending, and then just never fucking fish again. Just retire completely. Go work at CVS or some shit.
Oh man,
I never really did the tournament. They just never felt like. I mean, obviously you can make some money, but you got to fish a lot of tournaments and make sure you get your day pay and have a good split and.
Yeah.
You get a couple dailies and makes money. You've done well, obviously, but a lot of people, I feel like, have not made that much money fishing those tournaments.
Yeah, that's tough, man. It's a grind for sure. But how about what's your thought on the sharks down here now? We haven't really seen it. At least I haven't feel like really been a problem, and now I feel like this year was the first year it was actually like a problem.
That's one of the few fish I don't think has been as bad an issue as they're made out to be. I know they've been really bad in Palm Beach. I would say, and we lose a lot of wreck fish, the sharks. We used to lose a lot of permit when we go hit those, hit the wrecks for those things. Lose a lot of wreck fish. We lose some blackfin. Never really had an issue with the sales on the sharks. I know it's a big problem in Palm Beach. I've only had a couple in my career really get eaten down here, but I think it's just, if anything, there's just fewer fish. So when you finally hook your fucking 4-pound mutton, and it gets shark, like everyone's, gonna put it on Instagram and bitch about it. So I think that's part of it. I think there's a shark problem. I think there's more of a not as many fish problem. So when you get shark, it just hurts that much more.
Yeah, that hurts.
It was just epic fishing on a daily basis. If you fish get shark, you'll live.
Yeah, you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're fishing for that, especially on a charter, man, you fighting up 2 blackfin, and I know like JC had a couple charters where all his blackfins against shark. That's horrible.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's kind of every time I hook something, I'm pretty convinced like it could easily get shark. It happens a lot, but for charter fishing, it's good to catch those things too. I mean, most people are thrilled to catch a shark. I'm not, but it's a good charter fish. They're big, they pull hard, them specifically. But I don't think they've gotten any better or worse, in my opinion. However, I did have a day when we hooked a hammerhead this year off the kite, like a smaller hammerhead, and it just got absolutely destroyed by a bull shark on the leader.
Wow.
So our shark got sharked, and I was like, well, maybe this is a sign that this is getting out of hand, Never had that shit happen before, but.
A shark got sharked.
I don't know. I spend my existential concerns are more about fuel and other things than sharks, but. Yeah, everyone has their own fears, I guess. And
but yeah, Palm Beach is definitely an issue with that.
I haven't fished up there as much, but yeah, I've heard it's bad. I mean, if they're eating sails, it's concerning.
I mean, as soon as you hook up, they're already fucking chasing them,
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I've only seen that a little bit here. They're like trained there though too.
Yeah.
I know they got more guys like doing diving for them, feeding them and shit there.
Yeah,
they're smart. I mean. People don't realize how fucking smart those sharks are.
Yeah.
Like they'll literally follow the boat. And I mean, I've seen like on the county wrecks, I've seen 10 bull sharks underneath the boat. And like, as soon as you get bit on the kite, they eat your shit. And then you drop a bonita down.
They won't eat it.
Even on mono, they won't eat it. Like they're pretty smart, and they're pretty picky sometimes too. There's definitely I do avoid certain places like the county wrecks. I don't fish them as much because especially in the spring.
Well, I feel like your boat is your boat only fishes one area primarily.
What's that?
Pacific.
Pacific? Nah.
Pacific to Triumph.
We like that area, but we're chasing current. We'll fish that area. We've been fishing out front a lot more. I had to be a little more restrictive too.
Couldn't be sending it down the Pacific every day on half days.
We had a conversation a few months ago. I'm like, guys, 3/4 day, like you're not going further than Triumph. It's just grass is always greener, you know. Just start running. I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just go to the Sir Scott, and then I'll literally do the math. I'll be like, oh, I used to be like, whatever. Run an extra 30 minutes, it's an extra 10 gallons, $30. I'll just run down to Triumph, and I'm there. I'm like, oh, I'll just go a little further. There's edges starting to come in, and you get down there sometimes. But I used to go down there a lot too. There's some better wrecks down there too. Pressure, so that helps. But I mean, we fish different areas for sure. Soon we're all going to be fishing. It's going to be just a fight to get to the boil every day and back with fuel prices.
Yeah, $15 a gallon.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
Yeah, between the diamonds and the county wrecks.
Pretty much.
Oh man.
Hey, I don't know, the Misprit Canyon from that's like the Sir Scott to the Ultra Freeze.
This is the Misprit Canyon.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're all partial to certain areas. It's good down there though. I do think it's good down there. I feel like the current definitely comes in a lot better for the most part down there. A little more consistently.
Yeah.
You get up in the tower and end up chasing edges a lot.
Yeah. It's like, I see it coming in. Then sometimes it doesn't come in. You're like, fuck.
When it doesn't come in, you're like, fuck. Yeah, that happens too, for sure.
I was playing tricks on you.
Yeah, I'd probably rather fish. I'd rather fish out front if you get the conditions. But I just hate fishing ugly water. I just find it. I mean, they're in it sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Green water, no current, but it's just depressing. Like when you have like ugly water and it's slow, you're just, what am I doing here? They could be chewing down south, but I've always been willing to run though. A lot of charter guys just are very
limited.
Some are, but most of them are pretty fuel conscious, and we definitely try to go where we think the bite is, wherever that is.
Yeah. But tell the story about what was that? I don't know if it was last year or that day you caught that giant sword, or was that 2 years ago?
It was like 2 years ago. That was a pretty cool one. It was it's like October, I think, or November.
How big was that fish?
What's up?
How big was that one?
It was 452 or something. It was like 450 something. Whatever. We hooked up and fish came straight up and slacked us the whole way. We knew it was obviously a big one. We had Chris, and then I had Ryan, who I was still trying to train a little bit for running the boat for those things. But I had a good crew that day. And whatever, we had 2 harpoons ready, because whatever, when those things come up, I try to dart them as quick as we could. So it came straight up, and it looked big. And Chris threw, Ryan didn't throw, but Chris threw, and he hit him. And this was within 10 minutes of hooking the fish. I mean, it was great. We just had no idea. He was coming up to see what the fuck was going on. And we hit him in like 10 minutes, and then he started running, and then the hook pulled. And this was like within 15 minutes, we had a harpoon in him and the hook pulled. And he took off. We got 2 baskets. We got like 1,000 feet in each basket. And he just took off to the bottom. So he drained one basket, and then we hooked it up to like the 130, and he took another like 500 yards on the 130. So he's pretty much all the way at the bottom at that point. He stopped taking line eventually. He just got to the bottom, and then I had already like in my head, I was like, this thing's fucking gone. I was like, we're just gonna waste however much time pulling on this thing to lose it. So we just started slowly kind of like reeling on them, because we're finding them on the 130 now. We just slowly kind of reeled on them and for a couple hours, and then we got back to the harpoon line probably at like 3-hour mark. Either way, we spent like almost 5 hours fighting it just on the harpoon line before we got it back up. And we didn't know where we hit it either. and it ended up being like square in the back. It was pretty close to the spine actually where we hit him.
Nice.
So he stayed on there. We ended up, it was like 4.5 hours, I think. We ended up gaffing. We had people trading off, pulling on the harpoon line for just hours. And the only good takeaway from that is like, if you see those things, just throw for sure. Yeah. Especially big ones, and especially at the beginning, because hook can definitely pull. Pretty quick. So
that was a lot.
You can miss a lot of harpoon shots too, but I'd rather miss than not throw.
Yeah, sure. Man, that's crazy. Fucking hook pulled in 15 minutes. Wow.
We fought it for like 4.5 hours.
Did the charter like realize kind of like what you guys had gotten into, or they're just like completely they didn't know?
They kind of had no clue. I mean, they typically like, they think it's a normal thing for us to just like harpoon these large swordfish. Yeah, we just go out here, hook these things, throw harpoons at them. But I mean, that's some kind of an idea. It was obviously a big enough fish, or it's pretty impressive. I just had mentally accepted that this fish was gonna get away from us well before we ended up catching it. I was just trying to manage my own expectations there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go your way for sure. But I've had plenty of fish that just don't go your way. So
yeah,
nice to get a few wins.
What's another good banger charter day you could think of?
Had some cool days over the year. That's one thing too. That's why we fish hard. Is those good days make it worth it.
Yeah.
We had that bluefin like 5 years ago. That was pretty cool. But that was we had just kept seeing them on those rough days when they would tail down sea, and
I
went bottom 130, and we just had it rigged up to just pitch to them. But we ended up seeing one that day. It was actually when I got the 130, it was like the first bluefin we saw after getting the rig for it. We pitched a bonita to it, a skipping bonita, like super ghetto, and the thing just aired out on it. Fought it for like 2 hours. It never took more on that reel. That reel's like super excessive. It's got like 200-pound braid on a 130, like to the knot. We caught that thing in like 2 hours, but I was the first one we pitched, and then we're like, okay, like there's something to it. I mean, you can for sure sight fish these things off Miami. So then we're like, all right, we start rigging mackerel and deboning them, and we get trying to fine tune our rigs. We got mullet in case they don't want to eat the mackerel. And since that fish, we've probably baited like 100 bluefin. We're talking like pods of them. You see like, all right, there's 20 of them coming. Perfect presentation. You got this thing like beautiful bait right in front of them, and they don't always eat like that first one.
Well, have you tried the skipping bonita technique?
The skipping bonita technique, we have when we don't have the bait too. Maybe that's just the way to do it. But
yeah, maybe that's the trick.
That's the secret. That's the sauce for them. But I know the guys in Bimini used to do fish a lot of mullet, mostly mackerel though. I know Calix started doing that down in the Keys.
Yeah, I feel like he gets pretty consistent.
It's got like 2 or 3 of them.
I think they got 2 back to back.
Yeah,
I don't know what that one day.
I mean, they come through. The biggest issue, honestly, is like it's usually rough when they come through. I mean, it's cranking out of the Northeast, and
I hooked 3 in one day this year on the kite.
Yeah, they won't eat the kite. If you put something big off the kite, though, it's hard to get them to eat.
Yeah.
They're tricky.
I had them eat 2 herring and a gog.
Yeah, we've hooked plenty on the kite. That doesn't usually end very well, but
yeah.
You catch any yellowfin this year?
I hooked 2 and passed 2 off, so I got that going for me.
Were you with Richard that day?
Yep, yeah. Richard, and then with Tito on the price list, we hooked 1 and passed it off to that Traveler Z. Well, I actually fought it for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we passed it off, and these guys caught it like an hour and a half later.
Damn. Yeah, I think we lost 1 this year. Find the reel with it's a charter boat. So.
Yeah.
I'd rather have one passed off to us from a tournament boat.
Yeah. Well, fuck. Richard caught like fucking 4 this year.
He did. Yeah, he had a good year.
Yellowfin Richard.
Got
the secret technique.
The yellowfin technique. Yeah, they're tough fish. It helps. It doesn't help that some of the line on our boat is not exactly brand new, but I remember the first one we hooked. We had it was like years ago. We used to fish like a lot of 25 with backing and shit, And then we had like one reel that we had to like re-spool. And we had 6 out. And of course, the fish eats like the one with 20 and no backing. Of the 6, I mean, 1 in 6 chance. Of course, he eats that one. And then like the guide broke on the rod. And it just starts chafing the line. And I was just like, oh, God. And we're just downplaying this. You're just hoping the customer doesn't notice. They're usually so oblivious. But
Yeah, you're doing great.
you're doing so good, yeah. This fucking fish is so gone. Obviously lost that thing.
Oh man.
You get good at losing fish when you charter long enough. You also get good at not losing fish, but it's painful, man. People like make a serious effort to lose shit. It's like more of an expectation. Like you pass a customer the reel and it's just like, I'm more surprised when they don't like put it in free spool right away. I mean, they're just a lot of good tournament fishermen who just spend a lot of time on charter boats. Catch enough fish in that environment, you get at it.
Well, that's funny. Hey, man. I've seen even people that have been doing it for a long time. You tell them to lock it up, and they still do the opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, take your thumb off of it, and they're like, no, my thumb's off of it, and you just see the rod's bending and their thumb's right on it. I'm like, nope, you're not. You're not in free spool.
Yeah. Yeah. People get excited too, and they find creative ways to fuck things up.
Yeah, they forget what they're doing. Get too excited.
I think it was to dust them off like 2 years ago. My boy was on the Proficient. We were actually doing pretty well. I think we were in like 2nd, 3rd, and we hooked like probably the winning fish too. And then I was the angler, which shouldn't have been the angler. We were like pulling it in, and they were like all ripping the baits in, and I was like, no. And they have like slow reels, and I was like, guys, just fish them on the way in. Fish them on the way in. They're like, okay. And while fishing it on the way in, I got bit, and I was like, see, guys, yeah, you got to fish it on the way in. And the fucking thing, like, it went really ape shit. It like jumped at the boat. It almost hit the boat, like jumped over the rod, tip wrapped me, and I busted him off. And I was just like, well, I fucked it up.
That's why you fished them in.
Yeah. I was like, that's why you fished them in. So hopefully we get another shot today. And we got like 3rd or 4th. It sucked.
That's funny.
That's why it's a lot easier to just sit in the tower and yell at people. And, we ultimately can only fuck up so much when we're up there. As long as I don't run over fish, I'm pretty,
yeah.
You can always blame someone else. It's closer to the real.
Absolutely. Well, we have, I know you said some good stories, but what's one day that just, I mean, I know the sword is a good story, but what's one day that really just stands out that kind of just, you're like, all right, this is why I do this. Days when you don't want to fucking go after 20 trips in a row.
Yeah.
Is there a day that just like, you're like,
we've had some days. I mean, tailing sales get us going. We had a day where it was just me and Chris, just one mate. We had fished a lot that season. It was right after I rebuilt the boat. We were fished it was just me and him that year. I had no other crew, and we fished like over 300 trips. But we were probably on day like 15, day 20, I don't know, like going every day, fixing shit after charters. I felt so bad because it was like they were pouring through. We went out in the morning, we caught like 12, and I had Steve Dougherty ride in the afternoon, and they were just like pouring through. It was stupid, just tailors. And I got one mate, one customer. Every bait we get in the water, like pull up on a tailer, 3 more would be there, popped up, losing fish left and right. But we ended up like 20, we got like 26, I think, with one mate. But I felt bad. He was so mad. Like, go catch 26 with like a really seasoned charter boat mate, and like you got to do some apologizing after his captain, because that guy is like literally on day 30. And he's just been nonstop. And, he's like, when are we going in? You're like, just one more spread. It was to the point where he was like he was so mad at me. He wasn't even like bridling the baits. He was like hooking cigar minnows in the back and throwing them out. Just like, he was just fucking so over it. And everything was still getting murked. I think that was honestly like easily a 50 fish day, with a tournament team. But
yeah.
It's fun being out there on those days. You can see a lot of cool shit.
There's definitely some cool days out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, putting in the time, and had a lot of those over the years. I mean, it happens every year or two. You get a few days where conditions just line up right. It is surprising too how few people are able to take advantage on those days. Just being out there dawn to dusk. with the right amount of bait. It's definitely a tough tournament. I mean, charters, like, can't tell you how many days we've gone out there. It looks sick, stacked with bait, and then they get sick right away. We're going in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the worst feeling ever. And it happens a lot.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, I've thought about, like, when I know it's really going to go off, I'm like, I might just cancel, just ride out there. It's too rough, and then just go out.
Yeah.
With the squad, but it keeps it interesting for sure.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, nice, man. I think we covered some good shit.
Yeah. I did talk to Chris after that one day too. I was like, "You good, man?" He's like, "Whatever." Oh, he's like, "Oh, I was just really hungry." He was just hangry.
Hangry.
Yeah.
You gotta feed them.
You gotta feed them. Yeah, you gotta feed your mates especially on good days.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta keep them well fed, dude. Give them a Snicker bar. All right, Nick. Well, thanks for joining us. Nick on the Double Threat out of Miami. Thanks for joining us, and check his Instagram out. This guy's always catching them.